Karen's finishing up her stream now. She'll be done in the next 5 or 6 minutes. Something in my eye. Man, I think it's old. My eye's so old that it's, got its own stuff. I think Karen's just going to hang out with me during the stream. So I put the microphone over there. Because that's where she sits. And if she doesn't, I can move the microphone over there. Also, etc. Let's see, what does it say? What does that say? We saw a lifeboat yesterday. Well, and today, because Karen couldn't stay awake. Yeah. It's a Hitchcock movie from 1944, where surprisingly they're in a lifeboat. And it was weird. This was the director's cut, which is actually very hard to see. In the director's cut, there's a couple scenes with T.I. So, but the normal, like my mom never heard of T.I. or she doesn't even know what I'm talking about, but most of you guys do. So, yeah. That made, some a little more light because, they're in a boat for days. It's sort of annoying. And like that. So we watched it last night and this morning. So that's one more Hitchcock movie down. Hitchcock made approximately 54 movies. Probably seen about 20 of them if I was guessing. It's possible I've seen more than 20 of them. But he made a lot of movies. It's hard to see 50 movies by one director. But he made movies in the 20s until the 70s, I guess. I think his last movie was in the 70s. So he made movies for 50 years. So, yeah, there you go. And so forth. Let me refresh. Didn't want to start the quote-unquote lecture until Karen gets here. It did it again. When I refreshed the stream, it got rid of the mute. And that's new. That never happened before. The last time I refreshed the stream, it unmuted it so you could hear me talking on the stream a few seconds after I talk, and I have to mute it again. And that's new because that happened the last time, and the previous 1,000 times it didn't happen. So Twitch decided to punish you for refreshing the stream, even though Twitch doesn't work unless you refresh the stream as far as seeing the number of viewers or whether trains are going. So that's good. Good job, Twitch. You made Twitch worse if that was possible. Congrats. I didn't think you could do it. I didn't think you could program Twitch where I have it muted and I refresh it, it's not muted anymore, but you figured out a way to do it. Good job. It's funny because they're so dumb. All right. You'd think with the amount of money they have, they would make it less dumb. But no. Finally, that's right. Finally. All right, so we don't have any viewers yet, but that's okay because when Karen raids us, it'll quadruple our number of viewers. Then we'll be doing well or something. That's what Weird Al said. You have to know if you're doing good or doing well. And so on. So today's lecture is going to be on a line that I play in the Ruy Lopez. And I'll discuss the history of that and such. I assume that was the raid, but it was retiree gifting a sub. That's even better. That's right. COVID's good. Could you beat Zoidberg if he eats one of your pieces? Depends which piece. Zoidberg doesn't seem like a great chess player, so probably I could beat him. Probably. So, I don't know what's going to happen this weekend regarding my stream. And the reason is from noon to 5 both days, Eastern, I'm doing commentary for the elementary nationals, which normally would be in March or April. I think it's April. Maybe it's May. Now I've decided it's May. So it would be earlier this year, and it would be in Tennessee, and we would go to that, and they would get thousands of kids. Instead, they didn't have the tournament because of COVID, and they're having it online this weekend. There's the K through 1 section. There's a pre-K section, I think. Then there's a 2nd through 3rd, 4th through 5th, and a 6th grade section. Some schools in the U.S. are K5 and some are K6. So anyway, they have approximately 2,100 entries. It's pretty good for an online tournament. The tournament goes for 2 days, Saturday and Sunday. I think the kids only play 1 day depending on their section. And then Mike Klein and I, and if you know anything about Chess Kid, he's Fun Master Mike. He's one of the top guys there, if not the top guy. And we'll be doing 5 hours of commentary from 12 to 5. Now, normally, tomorrow, I would do 6 to 9, and on Sunday, I would do 5 to 9. So, I'm guessing Sunday I will do 5 to 9, and as soon as my work is done with the elementary nationals, I'll just stream. So there might be a 5 or 10 minutes delay if the tournament goes long. Now, Saturday is a different story. And the reason is there's 2 issues with Saturday. One is we have a family commitment we're supposed to go to from about 5:30 to 8. Probably Karen's going to go and I won't. And the other issue is I'm supposed to be on Chess TV tomorrow for 2 hours. However, I'm only going to be on for 1 hour because they needed the other hour and they put me on Thursday and I was sick yesterday, didn't stream. So I lost that hour. Anyway, if I wasn't on Chess TV tomorrow, I probably would just skip my stream tomorrow, go to the family function, and then I would stream Sunday. However, what I might do tomorrow is when I finish the kids tournament at 5, go to the family function, come back at 6:45 and stream late. I should stream 6 to 9, but I'll stream 6:45 to 9. And then I'll be on Chess TV 7 to 8. The other possibility is I'll just stream 6 to 9 and I won't go to the family function. So I haven't decided yet. But I don't think I should not stream tomorrow, since when I was on Chess TV last time I had 2,700 viewers. So probably should do that. Karen rated with a party of 32. Good. So anyway, now there's two chess Twitch pages I know about that are chess.com. One is called Chess, and they're streaming right now. And one is called Chess.com Events, who's not streaming now, unless they are. And I don't know which one I'll be on, or if I'll be on a third channel. But from 12 to 5 tomorrow, I'll be doing commentary with Mike Klein on one of those channels. I just don't know which one. Yeah, his name used to be Mike Grand, but then when he did commentary with me, he decided to change it to Klein. Aunt Podian subscribed. Good. All right. So thanks for the raid, Karen. Great raid. Great job. Best raid ever, etc. Okay, so I'll be streaming tomorrow and Sunday from 12 to 5, but not on this channel. Either on the Chess Twitch or Chess.com Events or a channel I don't know about that's run by Chess.com, right?
What's that?
Yeah, Karen agreed. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I figure you'd sit here, but if you want, I'll move the microphone here.
Sit there? Yeah.
Yeah, it's a 3-hour stream on the Ruy Lopez. Nobody's ever stayed awake all 3 hours. It's never happened. So anyway, that's what's happening tomorrow and Sunday. I'm definitely streaming 12 to 5, but not on this channel. And then after that, I don't know what I'm going to do. Probably I'll stream tomorrow and Sunday on my channel also. But I'm probably going to start tomorrow's stream late, like 6:45. So instead of at 6. Ooh. All right, and then I'll be at the house for an hour or something.
Yeah. Hey, Avi Star. Well, what about, are you going to go to Ben's, the other Ben's, or you're...
Right. That's the house.
Oh, the house.
That house, right. Ben's house, not Ben's house.
Yeah.
All right. Now, when I was doing research for this lecture, the first game that I wanted to use, I don't remember that guy at all, or this game. Then when I was playing the game over, I'm like, oh yeah, I played this game. But the other games, I remember everything. Like, I remember the wind speed. But this game, I'm like, what? Yeah. Okay, now, the Ruy Lopez, as Karen knows, you can't have your phone during the lecture. Okay.
I have to answer this text.
The Ruy Lopez, as you know, by you know means you guys don't know. Normally I have black, and I started playing the Ruy Lopez, this variation in 1988/1989, because I learned it from my compatriot Luc Winans of Belgium when I was living in Belgium. And when I lived in Belgium, Luc Winans was the best player in Belgium. So he played this line in the Ruy Lopez, and he showed me his analysis, and then I started playing it. And this is the Ruy Lopez, okay, and you could also call it the Spanish opening. Now, in this position, for many years before the year 2000, A6 was the most common move. And in the last 15 years, knight F6 is equally or more common because of the Berlin, because of what match? Which match made the Berlin popular? You got a hair under your... Yeah, up, way up. Yeah. You were like over it, way up, right under your eye.
I'm just going to guess one because I don't
It's
know.
way under your eye.
Well, I don't know where it is.
Yeah. You didn't get it, but you did good. Yeah. Let me see.
No,
Let me see.
No, I didn't
Let
like
me
the way
see.
you did
Let
that.
me see.
You can look.
I got it.
Okay.
I mean, I can't tell if I got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did that good. Okay. That's the only legal way I can nail Karen on stream. Okay, so McJurgle subscribed. Hooray.
I don't know, Fisher Spassky.
That's close. It was Kasparov Kramnik.
That's not close.
Yeah, it is. And Kramnik played the Berlin every match. Now, before Kramnik played the Berlin, there were two grandmasters who always played the Berlin. Okay? One of them was trying to draw, but he would win by accident sometimes. And one was playing it to win. Those were both American grandmasters, Arthur Bisguyer and Alex Scherzer. And the Berlin, as you know, I will move this, and you're not sitting close enough. You never in all my years. You never sit close enough. You sit like 20 feet from the table.
Well, your chair is...
Yeah, just keep going. All right, go more. That wasn't enough. Okay, the Berlin, instead of playing A6, is knight F6.
All right.
Castles. Knight takes E4. D4. Here. Takes. Here. This is the starting position of the Berlin endgame. And in the last 15, 20 years, at the top level, this position's occurred over 1,000 times, and black is doing fine. White's not getting any advantage. Okay. Now, before this became popular, black also would occasionally play knight e4 instead of knight f5, and then queen e2, and this was a line. For example, van der Wiel Timon, Tilburg, 1990 maybe, I don't know. Something like that. Okay. So this, took away Kasparov's opening advantage with white, and Kramnik won the match, as you know, with 2 wins and many draws, like 13 draws. All right. Now, this isn't the line that I play. After knight f6, castles, you can also play bishop c5, which is much less common. And that's the line that I learned. That's going to be the focus of our lecture today. However, we're going to talk about other Ruy Lopez's and other issues with double king pawn. Now, I don't like to criticize today's players, even though they're worse than players from before. Oh wait, I was just criticizing them. The reason players are worse now it's not really their fault, their brain, is players today spend less time on improving their game and more time on improving their opening play. As a consequence, they all play the opening okay, and then that doesn't help any of them. So, for example, Wes Berger, right?
Mm-hmm.
He thinks there should be sports where you're allowed to cheat. Everybody cheats, then you see what happens. So there's sports where you don't cheat, which is normal.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's sports where you do cheat. You take as many drugs as you want, and let's see who wins. Instead, sports are you don't cheat, and if you take drugs, you're in trouble. Then they catch about half the people. So the other half are winning and cheating. So then,
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So in chess, what happened is everybody's cheating. They're doing hours and hours of opening work with engines. So they're sleeping and they wake up and the engine tells them the best move. So now all the top players in the world use lots of engines and coaches and they play the opening great and the rest of their game suffers. So they play worse than players used to play, but they play the opening better, which is bad for their chess, which is unfortunate. Okay, and so now this is good for me because I don't play chess that way. The way you should play chess is you should play things you know that your opponent doesn't know. And the way the top players play chess, when they play slow chess, not now because they're not playing slow chess now, is they play all the way to the end of the engine, so they play 3,500 strength. They get a completely equal position, then they draw pretty quickly, and then their games are really good. Okay? And the way they should play is they should play some line their opponent doesn't know, and they should do hours of work with their coaches and their computers. It's still equal, but now they know and their opponent doesn't. And this is what they do a lot in Rapid and Blitz, is you see some weird openings, and then one of them is pretty well prepared and the other one's not. Okay, so I did this by accident. And what I mean is, most people were playing a6. So that means my opponents knew a6. But I played knight f6 to play bishop c5. And after knight f6, my opponents are like, what's that? And it didn't matter what I played from here on in, they were confused. Okay. Then I got very fortunate. Thanks, Jay McGrath. I got fortunate that the Berlin became really popular. Mm-hmm. The reason is I don't play the Berlin, but it looks like I play the Berlin because I play knight f6. So that endgame that I just showed you, at some point when I played knight f6, my opponents are like, oh, Ben's going to play their Berlin, and I'll show him my prep. And then when they would castle, waiting for the Berlin, I would play bishop c5. So instead of being confused on move 3, they were now confused on move 4 because they didn't expect knight f6. Then they did expect knight f6, but they didn't expect bishop c5. Now, it's very unlikely I'm going to play the most topical line because that's stupid. And most of the top players are stupid. Okay, and you know who I'm talking about. Okay, and so what they do is they're like, what opening has my opponent studied the most? Then they play that. All right, so that's just dumb. Okay, there's plenty of stuff in chess that's new, and that's why one of the top young talents who plays his own openings is his initials should remind you of you.
Oh.
DD, double D. Whose initials are double D?
No, I don't know.
Daniel Dubov.
Oh, I don't understand the connection between knight f6 and bishop f5.
How you say that guy's name?
I say Heinz Superman.
Heinz Superman gave $9.99.
Yay, thank you.
PPRTS1 subscribe. Thank you. Okay. You don't understand the connection between who and what?
You were talking about knight f6, so you can go bishop
That's right.
c5. So
That's right.
I don't understand what you're talking about.
Well, after knight f6, there's a very popular line called the Berlin. And when I play knight f6, they think I'm going to play the Berlin because that's what everybody plays. Then when I play here, they're like, say, what? And it used to be that Berlin wasn't popular.
Oh, I see your
So when I played knight f6 here, they were already like, say, what? So now I'm confusing them later. So that's good.
Oh, I see, because you're saying bishop.
Yeah, nobody
C5
plays bishop c5.
is
Nobody,
not
still
part of
nobody
it,
plays
right?
bishop c5.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Now, when I play the Chigorin, or I play the Baltic, or I play the closed Benoni, you know me, right? I'm playing openings that I know that my opponent doesn't know, because that's what you should do. And especially for you. You could argue, unsuccessfully, that I shouldn't do that because my opponents are so good, I'm playing an inferior line, and now I have a bad position. That could be true, could be, but you should definitely do it. You should definitely play openings that you know that your opponent doesn't, especially gambits, like the Smith-Morra, or the Scotch Gambit, or the Danish Gambit. Those openings are underutilized at the lower levels, then you just win all of your games, and they're not bad openings. They're just not fashionable, okay? So mainly the point of that was the top grandmasters are stupid. That's the main point of that. And what they do is they play the openings their opponents know the best. And they don't get any advantage. And all the games are draws, and then the gawking rabble, which is you complain. You're like, oh, all the games are draws. Chess must be a draw. Okay, that's not what it is. It's both players are playing the openings their opponent knows the best. They're on move 28 and they're both still in their prep. And that's just dumb. That doesn't help anybody. That's just stupid. If I want to see that, I can go watch a computer tournament, which I'm not going to do. Okay, but if I wanted to see that, I could. Okay, now I've been saying for many years that white should avoid this endgame with knight takes e4 by playing the move d3. And some of the top players are catching on, and d3 is a pretty common move. Now, it's not a Berlin, it's just normal Ruy Lopez, boring, strategical. Right, okay. And unfortunately for you, I didn't show the games that I lost, because I lost plenty. Including in the Pro Chess League against Fabiano Caruana, who played d3 against me. Okay, now this game was played in 1990. Or wait a minute, when I say 1990, oh, that's right. And this was played in February at Kappala. And that was a pretty new tournament. And that's the suburb of. It's a movie, too.
I don't know.
It's a movie.
What?
Dunkirk.
Okay.
You didn't see Dunkirk. Also,
No,
I didn't.
I didn't.
All right, now let's see if they're paying attention in the chat. Don't tell them.
Okay.
What movie did Karen and I watch last night and or this morning? Formerly 5IT gave 100 cents to dues. Grunge Work gave 200 with a shout out to me and Karen.
Yay.
Let's see, that's correct. And that's it. Everybody else just watching and rhyming and stealing. Let's see.
And Keeley, formerly 5IT and Grunge Work.
I talked about it for a while. What movie we saw last night. I made some jokes about it, and none of you know? Wow. Human Centipede is correct.
Did you tell him the director?
Yeah, I did.
Oh.
All right. Well, most people who are responding are under the age of 12, so they don't. Yeah, like Bumblebee. That's the best they can do. Okay. The correct answer is Lifeboat. Yeah, I just got a Diamond membership gift, which doesn't make a lot of sense since I'm perpetually a Diamond member.
Oh.
So I'm not sure about that.
Where did?
Oh, maybe they're a Diamond member, and then, maybe I get money from that. I don't think so. I think they just blundered. Okay.
Oh, that was nice though.
Right. Anyway, the correct answer was Lifeboat from 1944, directed by Alfred Hitchcock. And then I explained to them that I saw the director's cut, which had T.I. in it.
Wow. That's loud. Hey, VC.
Mm. All right, good chat,
88.
good chat. You guys are forgetting about the hype train as usual.
Debbie does Dallas.
Okay. Now, all the grandmasters after D3 Okay?
I'm listening.
They play bishop c5. Okay, I don't do that. I play d6 because I want to fianchetto my bishop.
Okay.
Okay, and then I played bishop e7, confusing the audience. Today I would play g6. This game was played 27 years ago. 27 years ago? 30 years ago. All right. Rook e1. I don't know who annotated this game. Somebody did. Okay, and it's not very interesting. Sort of boring, like a Ruy Lopez should be. And then whoever annotated this game said that bishop d2 was a novelty and bishop f4 was played in some other game. Yeah, I mean, bishop d2 looks pretty passive. I guess he wants to go here. Queen e5, very suspicious. Queen g5. Okay, and I took a pawn. Now, taking this pawn has some risk. The problem with taking with the knight is my knight's pinned.
Mm-hmm.
So he would play queen e2 and then rook e1 and, Papa John's.
Yeah.
So I took with the rook. Now when he takes my knight, I can't take with the queen because he takes my rook. My queen has to defend my rook.
Mm-hmm.
And I have some back rank issues. So I have to take with a pawn. So I'm up a pawn, but my pawn structure doesn't look very good. But I'm up a pawn.
Mm-hmm.
Then I didn't want him to skewer me.
Yeah.
Then my king's safe on e7 because I have bishop e6. Now I'm up 2 pawns. I got 2 pawns, 1 for each of you. Yeah, now it's just a matter of technique. Up 2 pawns. And then I threatened queen g1 mate, which he prevented by resigning. Now he played rook e4, it says. And then instead of me mating him, he resigned. See, that's annoying, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Also, his rook's attacked. So, for example, in this position, if I had taken his rook, I guess I could take his rook. After here, I can't take his rook because he has knight f5 check winning my queen. But if he moves his knight so he can play king g3, then I can take his rook because his knight has to go here to fork my king and queen. But he has to be able to get on a mate. So he resigned or he hung mate and won, I don't know. Now, the result of that game had nothing to do with the opening. The opening was actually pretty boring, and I don't remember that game. But I played it in Kappala Grand, so that was good.
There's a train.
The train ended.
Oh.
The train's been going on forever.
I didn't even know.
I've been saying there's a train. I'm telling everybody who's donating.
I heard you talking about the donations.
Yeah.
I just didn't know there was a train.
Yeah, and then the train ended because they don't,
Oh.
they're not good at the train. Okay, so what was good about that game was there was no theory. The position was about equal, and we just played chess. Not my opponent memorizes 25 moves and ridiculous. Mm-hmm. How am I supposed to win on time if they do that? Okay, now that had nothing to do with the lines that I usually play, and that guy wasn't so high rated and so forth. Now later in the year, I played in Reykjavik, and that was also in 1990, and this was against Ferdinand Hellers, who later quit chess to become a lawyer. And he's from Sweden, obviously, and frankly. And this has a funny story, which I'll get to on move 12. Now, again, Luc Winans, your favorite Belgian grandmaster, he was the one who showed me this line with black, with knight f6 and bishop c5. Knight f6, castles, bishop c5. I've had this position many times. That's going to be the focus of this lecture. In the previous game, white did not castle. White played what move instead? Instead of castling. Preventing me from playing the Berlin, which I don't play. But he prevented it, showed me. How do you prevent black from taking this pawn?
Oh, yeah, you said d3.
D3. So here, most people take this pawn now, but I play bishop c5. Okay, he played c3 to play d4. And again, this is many of my games. And we talked about this rule on many of my streams. When it's an e4, e5 opening, and white plays d4, and you can take the pawn or move your bishop back. I have a rule about that. You have to see if your opponent castled. If they didn't castle, then you take, and play bishop b4 check, and then you try to take this pawn. As in, Stein's von Bartoleben, for example. But if they did castle, then you just play bishop b6. In this opening, it's not a gioco piano Italian game kind of game, so you always play bishop b6. Now, one of the things lower-rated players do, which I've complained to Karen about many times, is when people do things that threaten other things and things can happen, such as trades, they just automatically trade. That's what they do. And then you shouldn't do that unless it's an advantageous trade. So the fact that white played d4 and black can legally take the pawn doesn't mean that he should. Now, obviously, in this position, as discussed on previous streams and with my other private students that you haven't seen, when you take this pawn and white recaptures, you're not taking this pawn. That's not what's happening. What's happening is this pawn disappears, and this pawn disappears. Okay, as you can see from this. These pawns go away. And why are you giving up this pawn for this pawn? That pawn's actually not well placed because it prevents white from playing knight c3. So if you did this, you would have to have a specific tactical reason, because strategically it's just bad. Pawn e5 is good. Okay, so bishop b6. Bishop g5 pins my knight. That's a common move. h6. You can take the knight or play here. We're going to see both. d6. And now my opponent vacuumed the board. $9 from Irish Kong, who also had said gave me a diamond membership, which I have a lifetime diamond membership because I'm a grandmaster. Okay, so I'm not sure about that. I might have to take that back. Okay, now he vacuums the board. He takes my knight, he takes my pawn, and he plays knight bd2, and he says, aha, you have all these doubled, isolated, weak pawns. And I say, but I have the two bishops. Grandmasters like the two bishops. He's a grandmaster. He gave me the two bishops, so he had to quit and become a lawyer. Okay. Now, in this position, this pawn's almost attacked. See? Mm-hmm. So I could play g5 and then take that, which I would do if he takes this. So he played knight bd2, developing his knight and defending his pawn. Okay. And I played rook e8 because that defends my pawn. All right. Now, this tournament took place in April of 1990. I'm sure you remember that well, April 1990. And when the tournament ended, I went home because that's what you do after a tournament. Mm-hmm. And I flew from Reykjavik to Luxembourg, and then I took a train from Luxembourg to Brussels, and then I probably took a tram, and then there was a donkey waiting for me, and so forth. And when I walked in the door, my phone rang, and I answered the phone, and it was Luc Winans, the guy who taught me this opening. And Luc Winans had just played a tournament in Lyon, France, and he just got home. So he was calling me to see how I did in my tournament, because the internet was that we didn't, Okay. And I said, what happened? And he said, what happened? And I said, I played Ferdinand Hellers, and I beat him with black in 23 moves. That was all he knew about the game, was I was black and I won. Mm-hmm. And he said, queen a4. So that was pretty good. Mm-hmm. And we had never looked at this position. And I said, how did you know he blundered with queen a4 in this opening? And he said, in Lyon, I had this position, and my opponent considered playing queen a4 and realized that it lost and played something else, and we drew. So he figured if I won with black in 23 moves, my opponent must have blundered, and he had just seen this blunder. So he figured maybe it was the same one. That's why he's a grandmaster, and you're some guy trying to get your pennies together to donate $4.99 for a sub. That's the difference. Okay. Exactly. Yeah, he wasn't watching him on the internet because it was 1990, so nobody was doing that. Okay, Queen A4. Now, you like when I quiz you and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So Queen A4 is a blunder.
Okay.
Why? What's wrong with that move?
Let's see.
Haven't had Perry in so long. The reason I didn't stream yesterday was I was sick for like 16 hours. It was like bed, bathroom, bed, bathroom. We made a store called Bed, Bathroom, and Beyond, but we got sued and we closed it. Man. Etc.
Sure.
Exactly.
Why is that a blunder?
I found all my extra socks in the Beyond section. Okay, without looking, who has more viewers right now? Chess with Ovi or Indo Queen?
Chess with Ovi.
Incorrect.
Really?
Indo Queen 22, Chess with Ovi 15.
All right.
It's a big fight. Yeah. They're actually the same person, which you didn't realize. It's Pam. She says hi to me and you.
Hey,
Although my
Pam.
name is in all caps. Although you became a GM all of a sudden. So we both got all kinds of stuff going on.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, now, as you can see, this knight is attacked by my queen, and it's defended twice. So you gave it no never mind, because you're from Alabama. You said, I'll give that no never mind. Okay, now it's only defended by the knight. So if I could attack that knight, then the knight can't really move away, because I would go there. So when you attack a piece, you want to attack it with a smaller piece. Otherwise, it's not really attacked. What's smaller than a knight?
Pawn.
So attack that with a pawn.
Oh, G5 and then G4?
G5. When I played G5, he put his head down and shook his head forever, which is very similar to another story I told, because it happened when I played in Reno in 1999 at the U.S. Open, and I was playing the guy from Uruguay. When I played the move that you suggested, Queen takes E5, he also put his head down forever and shook his head. It's very similar, okay? Because and when he played Queen A4, and I saw that G5 won a piece, I thought it might be a sacrifice because he gets a lot of compensation. But when he put his head down and shook his head a long time, I decided it wasn't a sacrifice. Yeah, also, if it's a sacrifice, it's terrible. I mean, I have a lot of hanging pawns, but I'm going to win a piece. So he played here, and I played G4, and he's losing a piece because, he's Papa John's. Okay, he played Rook A D1. Now he's on my queen, which I saw. Now he's on my pawn. I played Knight H5 to take his bishop. I took his bishop, threatening his rook, threatening his knight. Now he's threatening my rook, so I sacrificed a piece, because then my rook defends my rook, and I can take his knight. Doesn't matter, but it's fine. And when you have several pawns for a piece, you want passed pawns and pawns that are dangerous. Now, Karen, how many passed pawns does white have?
Let's see. None.
Correct.
Yeah.
Of those none passed pawns, which white pawn is dangerous and might queen? None.
Yeah.
Now, here I have a very obvious threat. Queen takes e4, winning a pawn. You can't play rook d4 because I take it. You can't play f3 because it's illegal. And if it wasn't illegal, it should be because it's f3. So I expected rook e1 or rook e1, defending his pawn. Now, if he plays rook e1 defending his pawn, you could argue that this is pinned. So therefore, you might be afraid, let's go here, of queen g3, if you see what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
Queen g3 is a blunder. Now what does white play?
Let's see.
It's very similar to my game with Balashov when he did something similar, but I avoided it. Although Balashov was after this game. Coincidentally, also a kappala grand, which was not this game, but the previous game. It's a cornucopia of a tapestry of a mixture, right?
Mm-hmm.
See, told you.
Let's see if the queen.
Why not bishop a3 instead of bishop b7, bishop a6?
The queen could take the bishop, maybe.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, it takes the bishop.
Bishop, yeah.
Somebody said, why didn't I play here instead of here? That way I threaten the rook and the knight. Also good. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I can't argue with that. Probably knight c4. I can't argue with it. Bishop a6 looks fine. Okay. So he played the move queen c6, threatening my h-pawn.
Mm-hmm.
So if I take this, he'll take my h-pawn. So I defended it. Now, this is the part I don't understand. And when I say I don't understand it, I don't understand anything. He didn't defend his pawn with the rook e1s I suggested. He played rook d3, which seemingly prevents a move that I can't play, because you take the bishop. And then I just took the pawn. And the reason I don't understand rook d3 is the engine also said rook d3 was a good move. Now, obviously, he's losing, but if I was white, I would keep this pawn. I would play rook here or rook here. I understand that I'm losing, but I don't understand rook d3. All right, so I took. He stopped rook to the 7th rank. I played here, and he resigned. Now, when he resigned, I was staying at a guest house in Reykjavik. And the people in the guest house were Keith Arkell, if you're British, Arkell. His wife at the time, Susan, who used to be Susan Walker. Then she was Susan Arkell. Then she was Susan Lalich. Now I don't know who she's married to. And she's a WGM 2350. And James Howell, who nobody's heard of. And he's an IM. And the problem is he's British, and there's David Howell. Mm-hmm. So if your name's Howell, and you think British, you think David Howell. So nobody's heard of James Howell. He's an IM. Mm-hmm. And at my guest, and also Thomas Ernst, the Swedish grandmaster, also known as the Hitman. Thomas the Hitman Ernst. No? Thomas Ernst, the Hitman, boxer.
I don't know.
All right. Anyway, at the guest house, at night we would like show, whatever, like for fun. And they were like, your opponent resigned here. Doesn't he know he's playing you? That was that was the point of that story. Yeah.
And it's funny, just not exactly related. I just saw David Howell playing on a stream the other night.
I like that. James Howell wrote a great book, unless it was David. That's probably was David. Damn, truth hurts. Yeah.
I just saw him playing.
Yeah, she was Susan Walker, Susan Arkell, Susan Lalich. Now I don't know. Could still be Susan Lalich.
Who?
I'm telling you who. Susan Walker, Susan Arkell, Susan Lalich. She's a WGM from Britain.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Now, Lalich is a grandmaster, and Arkell was an IM when they were married, but now he's a GM. So, Okay, now, when she was married to Keith Arkle, at this event, there was a blitz tournament, very strong blitz tournament, like 5 million GMs, and I tied for third, and I was like I just became an IM, so I had a good tournament. But anyway, my game was not going on at the time, so I was watching his game because guest house, and Susan was sitting there, and he was playing a GM, might have been Bronstein, it was some GM, and Keith Arkle's opponent's flag fell, and Susan kicked him under the table, and then he was like, "Oh, your flag's down." So,
What?
yeah, I was there, I saw it.
You can't do that.
What do you mean? She did it. It was done.
That's cheating.
That's right. Win if you can, lose if you... Well, they're married.
Yeah, that's just totally cheating.
So there's a player you've never heard of. That means they've heard of him. Named Sammy Reshevsky.
Yeah.
Reshevsky was playing in a tournament, and Reshevsky's wife called the flag of his opponent, like from the stands.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, like, we're Jewish and we're married, so we're as one, so that's allowed. Sammy argued that.
He really did?
Yeah. He said that's we're as one, so that's she can call the flag. Not sure if that counted. Susan did it under the table where nobody would know, but I saw it.
Yeah.
But Sammy's wife just said, "Hey, your flag's down. My husband wins." You know? So
Yeah.
truth hurts. Yeah. You can kick your spouse. She could have argued, "I'm always kicking my spouse. What are you talking about?" You know, can argue that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's terrible. I mean, that's just completely cheating.
What? When if it was a blitz tournament? Yeah, but it's a funny story.
It doesn't matter.
It's still a funny story.
I know. It's cheating.
Yeah. Grounds for divorce. Yeah. But by the way, if I'm playing a grandmaster and they lose on time, could you kick me? Nobody sees.
No.
Damn.
I look like I've had enough of today. That's not true. I am a little tired. You saw David Howell playing too, KJ Betts?
I wonder if it was James Howell.
No. It was David Howell.
I know that's the same person.
I don't know.
James Howell's pretty tall.
I say it was online.
Okay.
What would I do if someone did that at a tournament? Depends on the circumstances, because I mean they would have, the spectator that interfered would have to be removed from the tournament room.
Why does it say ETG?
Yeah, that's what Jay McGrath says, the same thing. You can't exactly hold someone responsible for some random other person cheating.
So this was the New York Open 1993. I don't know what ETG is. I have no idea what that is.
Yeah.
I think somebody just typed in some random letters. Perrier rep subscribed. Yeah.
I need to be perkier. People think I'm mad or not interested or over it.
$10, Mr. Connick.
I am tired.
Thanks for the tournaments and lectures. Oh yeah, I'm great.
Wait, what's Mark saying? I was once asked for a rules claim. Oh.
That's true.
That's funny.
Okay, so this guy's an IM from maybe Spain, maybe Portugal. Nobody knows. I asked him. He says, "I don't know. I'm from one of them." Okay, this was played in 1993 in New York. Looks familiar, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and then he took, which is a very good move. Nothing wrong with that. Now, in this position, I've played both theoretical moves, knight takes e5 and knight takes e4. I've played them against good players and so forth. Okay, so this game I played knight takes e5, and then they played d4, obviously. Now here, you can play a6 or c6. I'm not a fan of c6. I always play a6. And when I play a6, I always hope that what happened this game happened, and it happens like half the time. But you have to hope.
Okay.
The best move is either bishop a4, bishop e2. You'd have to ask a better player than me. I've analyzed them both forever. Okay, he took on e5. I get that a lot from weaker players. This guy's a pretty high-rated player to play a move that's not very good. Okay, I takes. So we have an equal pawn structure, 7 against 7. But I have 2 pieces out and he has 0. I have an open file for my rook. And I have the 2 bishops. What else? So, I mean, a super grandmaster wouldn't have white here. That's a silly line. But when I play a6, I get that a lot. Okay, he played e5 attacking my queen. And if I take it, then rook e1. So I didn't take it.
I would even know not to take
Yeah,
it.
e5 is not a good move. Okay, he played a3, which is pretty shallow and pedantic.
That's some
Castled. Yeah. So black already has the advantage. His opponent's playing sort of silly. He took my pawn. Now, are you ready for the trick question?
Yeah.
Should I take with the rook or the queen?
I like with the rook.
Okay, I actually don't know the answer.
Because...
I don't know the answer. I'll turn the engine on. I didn't take either way.
Oh, okay.
That's why it's a trick question.
Oh.
I played b6 defending my bishop, and also bishop a6 is annoying.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, bishop a6 is pretty annoying. Let me see what the engine does, because this game was played before you were born. Yeah, it says b6, queen takes. It says queen takes c2 is also good.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't play rook takes. It's not doing it. I'm sure you're better after rook takes. It's basically arguing with itself whether b6 or queen takes is better. It doesn't know. It's like flip-flopping.
What's wrong with rook takes?
Nothing wrong with it.
Well, must be.
Still good for black. Not as good, it says, but still good. And God's getting mad.
Wow. Can you guys hear that thunder?
Yeah. I can hear the rain.
Yeah.
I just got a car wash, too. Okay. So, when I go outside from the house, I rarely have contact with people. I come here, or I get a car wash and I don't roll down the windows, or maybe Starbucks, but Starbucks is always closed at 3, so I'm not awake by 3. Okay. So the dog's got my mask. I put the mask somewhere else. There's like hair on the mask. I want a different mask anyway for the cloth reasons.
Right, yes.
So there's no mask in my car. I haven't driven my car with no mask in like 4 months. But I'm coming here. So, okay. I get to the car wash. I go through the gate. I'm at the car wash where they wash your car. And the guy starts talking to me, which never happens.
Yeah.
I'm not rolling my window down. And if I had my mask, I still wouldn't roll my window down because they don't wear masks there. So I just turn the music off and I'm like, what? And he looks at me funny because I'm not rolling my window down. And he's like, do you want me to wash your car? At the car wash that I've already paid for. I'm there.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure there's a Truman Show going on because a lot of stuff like that happens. I'm like, yeah. He's like, okay.
No, I mean, just probably...
No, I don't want a car wash. I came here to say hi to you guys. Can you bring the other employees out so I can say hi to them?
Some people like to chat.
Yeah, I want to chat with COVID and the guy was wearing a mask. Yeah, let them all chat. Now, one of my favorite Beetle Baileys, I only know about 1% of Beetle Baileys. And by 1%, I mean less than 1%. My favorite Beetle Bailey is the Sarge walks into a donut shop. Possibly it's a bakery. Okay. And Sarge is big.
Yeah.
And the woman there says, what do you have? And he says, I just came in to say hi. And she goes, oh, and she like poofs her hair. And then he says, hi guys. And he says hi to the donuts. I just came in to say hi to them.
Yeah.
Yeah, the guy thought I came in to say hi to everybody. Like, what? I've already paid. Okay. So I played b6. Now you have an issue. You ready for your issue?
Yes.
Now, here's why you guys aren't good. You guys at home. When you guys at home get chess lessons or do chess puzzles or play chess, you spend 99.9% of your time trying to find the winning move, okay, which is irrelevant in chess. You should try to find the move that doesn't lose, not your specialty. In fact, I would say that your specialty is the opposite. In this position, pay attention.
I'm paying attention.
If I go here, I'm winning material.
Yeah.
If you cheated and moved your queen and your rook so that I couldn't skewer them, You'd still be losing because you're not defending this.
Right.
So you can see that white has some issue here. Watch how he solves it. Queen d3. That takes care of like all that stuff I was doing to him. See, that was good. Yeah. All right. So I took on e5. I could take his queen and be better also, but development's not very good. So. Okay, he played c4. Probably if he plays, like I'm going to play bishop a6, and then he has to play c4. So he just played c4 now, so he could like forget about it. Like if he plays knight c3 and I play bishop a6. Okay, so I play d5 because I want him to take with the pawn, and then I can play bishop here. Yeah, you see what I'm saying. Now, if he takes with the queen, and I take his queen and play bishop a6, his rook doesn't have a lot of squares. I wonder if he could do that. I think he could do that. It's funny, I'm like doing this in my head. You have to play rook here to not lose material. Where's your rook go? I guess you could go here. Like this looks bad, because if I move my bishop like anywhere, then that don't look good. But if you go here and I move my bishop somewhere, oh, you could play bishop e3. That'd be bad. Hey, he could do this. It just looks really bad for white. Okay, so he played knight c3. I took. He can't take with the queen because I go here. So I have two bishops and an extra pawn. Now I threaten mate. Now his bishop's pinned. Yeah, it doesn't look good for him, does it? His rating was about the same as mine. Wasn't a good attack my rook. I defended my rook, and I want to mate him. And I want to take his bishop. So he has to play bishop e3. He gets his pawn back, but I got some pressure here. Once this is like this, he's just going to lose because he doesn't have a king. Now I'm threatening c5 and rook here. Never play f3. Check. And he resigned. What would you do after this?
Rook f1.
Yeah. So he resigned here. So that game I had the two bishops the whole game. I won a pawn. I made pressure, and then he fell apart. Yeah. Yeah. That was a long time ago. And this position, I mean, now, as a student of human moves, like in the movie Color of Money, I try to figure out, and this is something that confuses you guys a lot. I'm playing a game that you guys are watching, and I'm like, my opponent's going to hang this knight, he's going to hang this queen, he's going to do this. Then when he does it, you guys are shocked. So the reason I know that is I see the same things over and over and over again. In this position, when I attack your bishop, if you're a low-rated player, and this guy's high-rated to be a low-rated player. He's 24 or 30 FIDE or something. He doesn't want to move his bishop for psychological reasons. He doesn't want to like go here or here. He wants to, he just played that. He wants to take all my pieces, right? So a low-rated player wants to take this. A high-rated player doesn't because of the resulting position. This is advantageous for black. White has no development. Black has the two bishops. Black has an open file. Why would you want to have white here? But for some reason, when I'm paired down to low-rated players and I play here, most of them take that. And high-rated players don't do that. Similarly, and this hasn't happened in the games I'm going to show you, in this position, I get the same thing. Okay, and this is the game I showed you with Ferdinand Hellers, right? Okay, so your name has to be Ferdinand or Ferdinand to meet me to play. Low-rated players will do this against me. They go takes. Now they want to win this pawn, so they take this. Now this pawn's not defended sufficiently, but I take with the queen, counterattacking, this. And when I'm paired up, I never have this position when I'm playing a GM. When I'm playing a low-rated player, they often take on f6 because they're like doing stuff. Now, you could argue white can easily get rid of black's 2 bishops. Of course, that bishop can't move. I have nowhere to go. So if you're going to get rid of that bishop, I don't care. So this gives white nothing. This is like just equal. Maybe black's better, but it's equal. But again, low-rated players have this affliction that they have to make a move that does something. Okay? Bishop h4 is just like, you attacked my bishop and I moved it away. They don't like that. Mm-hmm. High-rated players love doing that. They love to make moves that don't do anything. And so when a move that doesn't do anything wins, the high-rated player finds and the low-rated player never finds it. When you have a forced win with take, high-rated players often miss that because they're not looking for that because their opponents are all high-rated like they are. So when you see Carlsen and Nakamura and Wesley So and Caruana and Karyakin and so forth, their opponents are their level. So their opponents are like hanging a queen every move. When I play on the internets, my opponents are hanging a queen every move. So I'm like, okay, did that hang a queen? Did that hang a queen? Did that hang a queen? The answer is yes. So when somebody hangs a queen, I'm taking your queen because I'm expecting that. Often at the top level, one of those guys blunders, the other guy doesn't see it because their opponents don't blunder. Now, if Magnus goes to lead chess and starts playing 1,000 blitz games against Doofus, now he's like, okay, time for the blunders. And then he punishes those blunders. But sometimes when he's playing somebody who's 27, 2800, you can get away with the blunder because opponents don't blunder. You're not looking for that. Yeah. So probably, if you were learning how to drive, mm-hmm. you didn't know how to drive and it was your first time and some car starts driving into you, you're like, this is just like the video games I played, and you get out of the way. But if you've been driving for years, usually cars don't drive into you and kill you. You've had thousands of situations and it's never happened where there was a head-on collision, you had to swerve out of the way. So if it did happen, you'd be like, wait, what? Now, my situation, which I don't understand, is cars in front of me stop. I still don't know why they're stopping. So when I'm driving, the guy in front of me has to slow down to a complete stop because that's the life that I lead. So I'm used to that. I'm like, why is the guy stopping? Okay, the light's too green. He's looking for a different shade of green. He doesn't like that one. All right, and so I win the end. That was the point of that. Yay. Yeah. Okay, now I played Stas Krivensov. Stas Krivensov is one of the only players I know. I'm trying to think if he's the only player I know. Yeah, who lost a game on purpose because he wanted to play poker. So it wasn't like a big poker tournament. He just didn't want to play in the chess tournament anymore. He was playing in a round robin, right? Mm-hmm. So he had his phone make noise in the opening on purpose. He got forfeited, then he went in the lobby and played poker. We knew before the game that was going to happen, and that's what happened. It wasn't this tournament. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Surprisingly, you've never heard of him. He doesn't play chess anymore. Shocking. He was an IM, played the US Championship. Yeah.
Does he play poker?
Yeah, but he's not a known poker player. He just likes playing poker. All right. Yeah. Let's see. Blah, blah, blah. Who? Okay. I've played Krivensov many times. All right. So we got a Ruy Lopez. See, I told you. You thought I was making it up. Now, he did something unusual. Normally when they castle, they play for d4. So they play c3, d4. Mm-hmm. Or they play this knight takes e5 I just showed you. He played d3. It's weird to play d3 and then castle. Because I could play knight d4 here. And then we trade pieces. But I just played d6. I didn't do that. So now if he plays d4, I play bishop b6. I'm up a tempo. Because he played d3, d4. Mm-hmm. But he just played here. So now we have a really boring game. Like, not the opening, So I play an opening he doesn't know, and then he just plays something boring, and the game's already equal. Okay. So I took and I played knight e7. I like playing knight g6. I like playing c6. In this particular position, which I must admit I've never seen in these kind of double king pawn openings, he has a lot of things that are loose. So obviously, if I can play queen b6, then I'm something Papa John's. And I did. And I attacked both of his pawns. Mm-hmm. And he defended the e pawn. And I decided taking that was risky because of knight c4. And then my queen's trapped.
Yeah.
So I didn't do that. I just played knight g6. And played d4. And this is sort of a boring game, right? Pretty boring. b3 I don't like, which we've talked about many times. Mm-hmm. You're just weakening your pawn structure here. Too many pawn moves. g3. Even worse. Always retreat. And you can see his pawn structure is not very good. Doesn't make a lot of sense. See, I tripled up here, and then with that winning attack, I won. Or maybe not. Yay, it's a pawn. I'm the best. I stole a pawn. And then I just wrapped it up because I'm up a pawn. That wrap it up button going. Pretty easy win. And we're going to go back because this part of the game is boring. Just up a pawn and winning. And he resigned. I took his knight, and now I'm going to take his rook. Okay, so let's go back to where I won a pawn, because that's the interesting part of the game. What should he do? Like I'm threatening this, right? Mm-hmm. So he should defend it. Not easy. Like probably either here or here. Because these pawns are so weak, because he played b3, mm-hmm. and this, I think I'm already winning. Too many pawn moves, yeah. Already I'm winning. Yeah, the engine actually lets me take this, just like he did. Let's play that. That looks pretty passive.
That's the only way I see. What was the other way?
The other way. The other knight.
Oh, the other knight. Okay.
Queen c5, threatening this. The engine says knight b1, hanging the e4 pawn, but let's defend the pawn. I don't know, here. Now, rook d6, rook d3, knight g4. There's nothing you can do. All your pawns are weak.
Yeah.
b3 is a terrible move. g3 is a terrible move. So he's already losing. Yeah. This is the way Magnus would beat a lot of people. Equal, then slightly better. This is the way I beat people a long time ago. Just not as good as Magnus. But yeah, here he's already slightly worse because these pawns are weak. Because my rook is here. I didn't play the other rook because I don't like to weaken my f7 pawn. I get scared because he's got an open f file. Yeah. So that was one of my better games because I won without any difficulty. Yeah, okay, and this is... I'm up a pawn and I'm better. Mm-hmm. Terrible. Then the tactic at the end is nice. I'm threatening his rook, and his rook's trapped. So he threatened my rook. Mm-hmm. And then I take his knight, and then I take his rook.
Oh, yeah.
So he resigned. Now remember, we talk about this every lecture. Mm-hmm. I'm up a pawn, and I'm like, what's the engine saying? You're like +7. And then the audience is like, when I was a kid, plus pawn was 1. So here I'm up a knight, right? Mm-hmm. What's the engine say?
+10.
Yeah. Now, let me try to explain to the audience. If I play a random game of chess and I just take off a white pawn for no reason, bam, it'll go from equal to +1.
Oh, excuse me.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. You take pieces off, it's +11. That's why you can't give away pieces for pawns and go, I got 2 pawns for a piece. But you guys do it anyway, but you shouldn't do that.
Scottish Demon Goat says, I don't get G3.
I agree. No, he's right. Mm-hmm. I don't get B3. G3, I think, and this game was played before you were born, he wanted to move his D pawn, which he did very soon. He played DE pretty soon. Now, you shouldn't want to play DE. However, if I take this, if this pawn takes this pawn, you can see that I'm on that E pawn.
Yeah.
So he wanted to do what he did, where he got this pawn structure where my rooks aren't doing anything. Well, if my queen's on B6, perhaps he was worried, since this pawn would be pinned, that I could play knight here and here. I'm not saying that would have happened. I'm trying to do it from his point of view. Maybe he wanted to play king G2 and get off this diagonal. B3's bad, G3's bad, and he has a bad position. Even though this is equal material, the engine already says I'm winning. Right, no, I agree, G3 doesn't make any sense. Yeah, G3 is just the terrible move. B3 is also bad. Yeah, so that game he just got beat. But he did play poker sometimes. So you got to give him that. Yeah, I like Kreiman. Kreiman was a nice guy. I like him. Okay, this game you've already seen before, many of you. This is Boris Crybaby Kreiman, a.k.a. Roid Rage was his nickname. He was somewhat muscular.
Okay.
Yeah, he was just muscle, so we figured he was on roids. And also, he did things nobody understands. Nowadays, if somebody has a big winter coat on in the tournament room, why do they have it on? Nowadays. They're cheating.
Cheating, yeah.
They have engines and they got all kinds of accoutrement. This was a long time ago. He had big winter coats on in the tournament room. And he was a big guy. And it's inside. So I don't know. I don't know what was going on. I don't know why he had big winter coat on. I don't know. All right.
Cold.
Yeah. Now, I won't say this guy's name. In fact, I won't even tell this story because we're on Twitch.
Yeah, body shot.
I probably could tell this story. I won't even tell this story. But I played a guy who had a big winter coat on. And that person was known for not playing honestly. He was in Charlotte, too. And I beat him. He's no longer alive. Okay. Now, this is my game with...
Really?
What? Huh? This is my game with Boris Crybaby Kreiman. And Boris Kreiman's a grandmaster of sorts. Why did he got his last norm here? Man, some of the guys I'm talking about are, coming back to get me. Okay, and we did the usual. See the usual there? There you go. Okay, and he played. This is on board 2 of the 2002 World Open. Now, who tied for first in the 2002 World Open?
You?
Obviously, it was a 10-way tie. Then I drove home all night and went to work. Yeah, 10-way tie.
I thought you were going to make me name the other people.
There were 9 other people. Yeah. Okay, this was on board 2 in like round 7 or 8. I think it was round 7.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, now you remember we already did this. We did this. This.
Okay.
This is my game with Ferdinand Hellers. And Hellers played takes, knight here, queen a4, and I asked you about queen a4. Okay. This opponent played knight bd2 and offered me a draw. And already white's close to losing. That's a blunder. Okay. Why is knight bd2 a blunder? You don't need to give variations. Just explain what it does that's bad. Knight bd2.
Blocks the queen.
Blocks the queen from
protecting the d pawn.
Right. And you see what the engine says.
+1.
For black.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So I started calculating, and I calculated the following line. Takes. Takes. That's a desperado there. And material's equal. If he doesn't do that, I'm up a pawn. For example, let's say he doesn't desperado and he just takes back. He just takes back. Then I take this, I'm up a pawn. So he has to desperado if he doesn't want to be down a pawn. Now you see this is attacked, but this is pinned. So I play g5. If he plays bishop g3, I take, and I have an extra pawn. I have the two bishops, and he has weak pawns. So, see what the engine says. So he has to sack a piece. And he's down a piece, and you see what the engine says. Like, I should be winning, but close. Okay, so in this position, when he played knight bd2 and offered a draw, I was like, well, I'm going to be a pawn up for nothing with two bishops, or I'm going to be up a piece. So let's do that instead. So I did, and he did sack a piece. And I played king g7, defending my knight. Now my queen can move away, but he went here, my queen can't move away. All right. This position has been discussed in the last 18 years. And as engines get better, eventually we'll know the truth. Maybe. So the first engines that came out in 18 years ago said rook e8 was a mistake, and the best move, obviously, I'm saying obviously because it's not obvious, is rook b8. That's what you would have played. And then, over the years, engines decided my move was better than rook b8, my blunder. So I blundered here, but it's the best move. Okay, and God's like, what? And it's thunder. Okay. So I played rook e8, missing my opponent. I played queen e7, missing my opponent's next move. Rook e8 is probably the best move. I missed what my opponent can do here. He can play e5. Notice he's attacking my bishop. And that's why if I had played rook b8, that wouldn't have happened. Now, the main line is takes, threatening his bishop. By the way, if he takes my queen, then this wins all of his pieces back and then some. Okay. So I take this. He has to take this, and now the engine gave the startling move d5, confusing Karen. The idea of d5 is to trap the queen. If the queen goes here, this wins his queen. If the queen takes on d5, I skewer his rook and knight. Okay, after d5, the engine says there's only one move for white. And nobody would ever play this move, ever. Never. It would never happen. It says I'm winning if he doesn't play the right move. And I will point out, if this did happen, I don't think I would have played d5. I wouldn't have seen d5. I probably would have played queen takes e3. The engine says this is about equal. Okay. Now he should play c4. The idea of c4 is, if I attack his queen with this same idea, and if he takes on d5 with this same idea, right? The reason he's playing c4 is now he can play knight e4, and his queen's defended. So if I take his queen, I can't take his knight because my rook's attacked because he played c4. Right. So that's crazy. That's all engine analysis. Okay. So c4 is the best move, and now I shouldn't play rook b8. I should play some move like here. And again, I want to play this and win his queen. And the engine says I'm better. It doesn't say I'm winning, but it likes black. Very because his queen's trapped. Okay. All right. So when I play queen e7, I didn't see e5. The best move is probably rook e8. Probably. And then we get a similar position, although maybe queen e7 is better. I'm not sure. The engine doesn't know either. Okay. Now, he didn't see e5, and I didn't see e5, because we're the best players at the World Open. He played queen g3, threatening, discovered everything. But, to be honest, if I said, what's white's best move here, I don't know. I don't really see a big threat. It looks scary, but, when I walk in the room and go, that's scary, but it's not, there's nothing going on. It's sort of like this, like, oh no, but, it's not really a threat. So I just play queen e6, breaking the pin. Now my knight can go to h5 or e4 or g4 or whatever. I'm not pinned anymore. He played knight f3. The reason he played knight f3 is if I make a random legal move, he takes with double check. And the reason he played knight f3 is this is mate. Okay, so after knight f3, I took on e4 and he resigned. I'm up a piece for a pawn. And what does the engine say?
It's hard to say. +5.
Right.
Plus
I'm
five
up,
and
I'm
a
up a
half.
piece for a pawn.
Yeah.
What? Doesn't my king look? Aren't you scared? Isn't the king scary? Right?
It's pretty scary.
And yet, I'm up +6. I'm up a piece for a pawn, and you think my king is scary. I'm trying to explain the value of the piece to the gawking rabble.
Yeah.
The gawking rabble's like, a piece is worth 3. This book I have from 100 years ago says so. And the engine says a piece is worth 1,000,000 because you're up a piece. So here's the point of the story. When you're ahead a piece and you're a super strong grandmaster and or engine, and there's not enough compensation, you always win. You're a piece. You can't just be like, oh, I lost a piece, so what? A lot of lower rated players, you guys lose a piece, and that means nothing. The chances of you winning or losing haven't changed because your opponent doesn't have the proper technique. Obviously, computers like Stockfish play pretty well. So the computer's like, well, I'm winning. I could give any number I want. I'm going to win every time. So I'll give +7 because I'm going to win. I'm up a piece. I'm going to win every time. Okay, it's true. So my opponent resigned. This game ended in like an hour, and I was in like the secret illegal room where the top players play in the World Open. There were 2 boards, mine and the other one. And there's like a huge audience. And Aviv's sitting there like, what's happening? And I went to Aviv in the audience, and he said, what would you have done on e5? And I said, what? I didn't see e5. So if you remember the e5 story, yeah, I didn't see e5.
Yeah, I didn't see
And I was like, yeah, I don't know.
I still think it seems so scary, that position. Or
The final position?
yeah, where
Yeah.
because it seems like the bishop could make a move.
Yeah, but knight takes queen. Now you're less scared.
Yeah.
Knight takes queen refutes almost every bishop move, except these 2 where I can't take his queen legally. But those moves would lose another piece.
Oh, let's see, bishop.
See, knight takes queen.
Right.
I got my move ready for you. And remember that mate I showed you? Not my knight's here, so there's no mate. So you can't do that. Actually, the engine likes that my pawns are gone. It wants to play queen g6 and rook h8 and Papa John's. It thinks that I have an attack. $20. Puzzle pawn. How is Aviv? Good. Good. Aviv's doing well.
Who's asking? Puzzle pawn?
Puzzle pawn. Wins TXN subscribed.
Archer takes lessons from Aviv.
I don't know if I should say that on the thing, but yeah.
Why not?
I don't know. If I say anything, I get in trouble.
Ah.
All right. So Karen's still afraid because of the king, even though white has no attacking pieces.
Yeah.
Now here we got some Papa
Well,
John's over here.
I can't find anything. It just looks scary.
Right.
That's some major thunder.
Mm-hmm. All right. Now, this may sound silly, or it might not sound silly. I'm going to guess it sounds silly. And not only that, the person who's going to laugh at me the most of everybody here is you.
For what?
Well, 'cause I'm going to
What's
tell
right
you.
to say?
I'm going to tell you something, and you're going to like laugh.
I'm not.
I'm going to bet that she laughs.
No.
Yeah. When I think about this game, I cry sometimes.
Yeah.
See, she's laughing.
I'm not laughing. I'm smiling.
For her, that's. Yeah.
I don't think he cries.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. This is the only game I've ever played where I got a standing ovation at the end.
Thank you, Grunge, for it.
People stood up and clapped.
Is this where you drew?
And I drew. Man.
I know about this story. I
Right.
don't
And
know
then when the game ended, is this the same tournament? Hold on a second. I'm not even sure this is the same tournament.
Yeah, because weren't you down a couple of pawns or something?
Hold on.
I know about the story.
This is the same tournament. This is the next round. This is the next round. I'm black every round. God damn.
Hey, Mumpa.
I'm black every round in this tournament. It's the same tournament. Okay, when the game ended and I got a standing ovation, Smearin did not get it was for me. It wasn't for him. And I went out to Aviv, and Aviv had his guffawed look, right? Mm-hmm. And he said, "I would have bet my left nut you were going to lose that game." Yeah, Karen never said that to me, but Aviv did. Yeah.
I've heard.
Now,
story.
the funny part of this story is, the day before this event, there's a player you guys have never heard of named James Cates or Stephen Cates. He's both. Mm-hmm. Depends who you ask. He's 2,300. When he was 2,200, he played in the World Open section. He could have played in the lower section. And he won his first game against a very high-rated player. Then he lost in round 2, round 3, round 4, round 5, round 6. And you'll find this funny if you've never heard it before. You'll find it a little funny. We call that a picket fence. You know why? He won his first game. Then when you get his score, he has 1 out of 2, and then 1 out of 3, and you keep writing 1. That's a score. That's a picket fence.
Oh, yeah.
You win your first game and lose the rest. So we were eating at the hotel restaurant, me and Kate's and some other people. And I said, the problem you have is you're always giving up. It says, when you have a lost position, the game just started. Roar! And I went on and on about how you have to fight and for your right to party. And then they stole my song, and I'm still suing the Beastie Boys, and one of them died. Anyway, so I'm yelling at them. Then I play this game where I'm completely dead lost, and his rating is 2865, which is good, right? And this is the year, you can go to the internet and look it up, that when Smearin with the black pieces in slow chess had beaten Karpov and Kramnik. Now, normally I wouldn't throw in Karpov because Karpov's 100, but he was not 100 in 2002. He was like 80. So, right? All right. And Kramnik was like the world champion. So, I mean, and Smearin beat him with black. So Smearin wasn't bad. Smearin was pretty good. Okay. And I said, how did you do against Karpov and Kramnik? And he said, I smeared them. And I was like, damn. Okay, so same opening, right?
Hey, Spencer Perrier.
You see the same opening here? What's Spencer to say about this?
I think they're talking about the nuts.
Yeah.
Maybe you never had them, or something else. Oh yeah, so did he lose his nuts?
That's right. What? Okay, so same thing. Okay, we've seen this. Now, in the 2 previous games where I showed you this position, what move did white play?
Let's see if I can remember. In the 2 previous games?
Yeah, one was the game I just showed you with Boris Crybaby Kreiman, a.k.a. Roid Rage. And the other game I showed you was against Ferdinand Hellers, right? Who later quit chess and became the group Franz Ferdinand Hellers.
Yeah, I can't remember this.
I thought he became the Killers, but I got confused. Hey, Spence, who's better, Franz Ferdinand or the Killers, and are they the same thing? I mean, the answer is the Killers, but I just want to see if they're the same thing. Come on, Puzzled Pawn, it's not Ricky 1. Boo.
What?
The Puzzled Pawn given the wrong answer.
No, did the bishop take the knight?
No, it's bishop g5.
Oh.
Okay, my opponent played de5, attacking my knight. So I took back. Bam. Then he played queen d5, attacking my knight again. Yeah. And I played knight c5. Then he attacked my queen. It's not very nice of him, right? Now, it turns out I'm supposed to play knight e7 here, pinning my knight. What's happening? Spencer heard that on our stream, and he heard it at his house. Right. He heard it everywhere. Spencer's got the Dolby dual, yeah. Killers by a mile. Spencer, do you agree the Killers by a mile, or is it close?
Wait, what's the question?
Franz Ferdinand or the Killers?
Oh.
Yeah.
he's still there. You heard it in Birmingham, C.L. Smith?
The Killers are straight trash. Favorite band ever is the Killers. Tough crowd. He says they're the worst, and he said they're the best. That's favorite band is the Killers. The Killers are straight trash. It's tough to please everybody. Franz Ferdinand, I guess, but it's a Sophie's Choice. God damn, that was a good answer. Pet Shop Boys. Man.
Sonic Youth?
Sonic Youth is in my cooler. Can you believe that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So in The Simpsons, there's an episode, which I've discussed on stream before, where it's Lollapalooza. It's a music festival, and they travel around. Homer's part of the festival. They shoot him in the stomach with a cannonball. Then when that's over, they play music. The musicians are Peter Frampton, Sonic Youth, Smashing Pumpkins. Is that a group? Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Cypress Hill.
Okay.
That's and then Homer gets hit in the stomach. Okay. So Peter Gabriel's always complaining because he's old.
Yeah.
So he says, "Who's been eating my like Sonic Youth was in my cooler, like stealing my food?" Okay. And then he's like, "Where's that thing that goes wah 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 wah? Like somebody stole it." You know. All right.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I have a funny Modest Mouse. We saw Modest Mouse on Spencer's birthday. Anyway, so Homer gets hit with a cannonball, and that's over. He says, "Okay, now it's time, for the music." He says, "And remember, don't trust anyone over 30." And here is Peter Frampton.
I went to a Lollapalooza.
Was it those people, Peter Frampton, Sonic Youth?
No.
Did Sonic Youth go in your cooler?
No.
Peter Gabriel or Frampton? Frampton. Did I say Gabriel? I meant Frampton.
You did say Gabriel.
That's Peter Frampton.
Yeah. Yeah, Spencer hates
All right.
Frampton.
Yeah, you actually hates them both.
Oh.
Spencer,
that's right.
who do you hate more, Peter Frampton or Peter Gabriel? Because he hates them both. I think he's going to say Peter Frampton, but I'm not sure. I'm actually not sure. That's a tough one for Spencer. Do you feel? Yeah, Spencer can't answer because it's too hard.
I think he got off the stream.
No, he's here. He's having a tough time. He's like, oh, God, I hate them both. Yeah.
Awful.
Wah, 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 wah,
I
wah.
like Peter Frampton.
Peter Frampton is on Family Guy, and Peter has a near-death experience, that Peter from the show, and he has to get Peter Frampton. So he gets him, and then it's a complicated episode. He says Peter Gabriel's worse. So that wasn't the answer I was expecting. Who do you like more or dislike more?
I'm not a super fan of either one, but I like Peter Gabriel more, only for that one album. I really like So.
So?
Yeah.
Yeah, because if
that
you
album.
like Wesley So, is that why? Okay. Let's get back to the game. The engine says I should play knight e7. I play queen e8. Queen e6. Okay, this is the kind of move a high-rated player plays, and a low-rated player would never play. You're low-rated. What would you play with white? She's not allowed to play it because she's low-rated. If she plays it, I'm going to contact FIDE in the USCF, and she'll be 2,300 immediately.
What would I play?
Yeah, you're white.
Okay, well, let me look.
Yeah.
I have to look for a moment. Doesn't mean I'm not allowed to play it.
Knight a3. You're the guy who beat me? h3? What? The queen's hanging. You guys have both beaten me. What's wrong with you guys? Man.
Yeah, I don't know.
Say move. Do it. Say it. Say it. What movie was I quoting there? Say it. Say it. Say it. And who were the two actors in that scene? That's a tough one for this crowd. Back to School is correct. And who were the two actors? Very good. Formerly 5IT. Sam Kinison and Rodney Dangerfield. That is correct. Titanic. What?
Yeah, I don't know.
Right, say a move.
I can see a move.
Say a move.
All right, bishop takes the C6.
Right, and he played queen d1. That's a high-level move. His queen's attacks, he moved it away.
Just went back.
That's the engine move. Yeah, queen's no good over here. I attack it. Here it's good. I can't attack it. My queen might get attacked. Okay, I played a6, and then he did it again.
Just
This
went
one's
back.
this one's easy. What do you do?
Bishop E2.
Oh, my own wife.
Well,
Keep going. Always play.
all the way back. Bishop F1.
And what does the engine say is the best move?
It's hard to see that from here.
Just say bishop f1 without
Bishop
looking.
F1.
And otherwise it says I'm better. Right, that's how you play chess. Queen d1, bishop f1, Papa John's. Okay, now I play d5, which the engine says is fine, but I get an isolated pawn.
Yeah, but I mean, sometimes retreating is not good. And
Always retreat.
Like, oh, so passive.
That's right. Okay, so he took, and we got this endgame where I have an isolated pawn. Then he outplayed me the whole game because he's better than me. Very nice of him.
Wow.
Okay, so
It's
we
going
trade
away.
everything, right? We did good at trading, right? Look at the positional, Now he tricked me. You watching this?
I'm watching.
I did that.
Yeah.
He took my pawn because he has to, attacking my knight. And I went here. I'm attacking his rook and his knight. And then he went here, attacking my knight. And he's also going to play rook here, defending his knight. And I thought incorrectly, when I played bishop c2, I thought I take, he takes, I go here. His rook's trapped. King g7 next move. That's what I thought. And then he played f4. So he can take this and defend his rook. So I played g4. Still the same thing, right? And he plays here. And I'm like, his rook just got out. And now if I attack his rook, he can play here and get out this way. Or he could play here and play bishop there and attack my h-pawn. So I'm just down a pawn now. Oh, I messed up. I clicked stuff I shouldn't do. All right. I hate when the universe goes like that. Okay, so I played rook d8, Gegenspiel, right? Kind of Gegenspiel or ohne Schinken? Which do I prefer?
I don't know.
Ohne Schinken.
Yeah?
I'm a vegan.
What's on a chicken?
Without meat.
Oh.
Yeah. Kind of Gegenspiel means no counterplay. I want to have counterplay. Okay. So he played rook takes h7, also surprising me, giving me the Gegenspiel. Rook h5. He wants to play f5 and then take my g-pawn. See the interference? Okay. And he did. So now I'm down 2 pawns. Okay. And this is move 40. So now we have this 40 moves in 2 hours, and now we get more time. Now, what does the engine say? What's the valuation?
2.8 plus 2.8.
That's not good.
Yeah.
And he's rated 2865, and he beats everybody. He wins every tournament. And I'm like an IM you never heard of. Have you heard of me in 2002? No. So I'm an IM you haven't heard of, and I'm playing like the best player who ever lived. Now what's the valuation?
Plus 3.
Yeah. All right. But I don't give up. It's an endgame. I don't give up. He played h4. What's the best move?
H4.
Right. So I'm not doing good. Okay. Now I thought forever and ever and ever and ever and ever. I thought like 20 minutes here. I mean, I really thought a long time. And I played the move f6, never play f6, stopping his king from going to g5. He was like, all right, king h5, king g6, Papa John's. Okay, so he did that. Bishop d5, attacking his rook. Note, now this is why I played f6. If he plays the obvious way, which he did, when I go here, I want to take everything on this rank. Sounds good, right? Well, his rook has to stay on his pawn then. But then I block it. So I play bishop here, and then I go back to c6.
Oh, okay.
And then you see what I did there.
Yeah.
He's still winning. He's still plus. Okay. But I got counterplay now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. He played there. Takes. He's still winning, it says. But now it's like 3-2, close to a draw. Okay. He says he's still winning. It says this is still plus, he still got me. But now I'm ahead of pawn. Pretty good. Although I'm still in trouble. Okay, rook b3. See, it looks like a draw now. It's close.
Mm-hmm.
It says he's winning, but it looks like a draw. Rook a3, giving up the pawn with check, attacking both of his pawns. And now it's a draw. After here, I have one move of the draws, which I played. Go Karen. Black to play. You have one move of the draws.
Let's see.
Let's see if the crowd gets it. Never even heard of 2002. It's correct. Devil Schinken bitte. 99999. Queen e7 check. Interesting.
One move that draws.
Eh. Retweeted by Hip Hop Chess. That's me. Oh, more ping pong balls are coming, so you were right.
Yeah, I only ordered half of them.
Oh, so you made the mistake?
Yeah, I made
How
a
could
mistake.
you? Only the ball should bounce.
I'm not sure.
Well,
is too
Karen's
hard for me.
thinking you can get a train started.
It's too hard for me.
Right, well, you can suggest a move.
I could.
Yeah.
Well, I would. I would just take the pawn.
There's 2 pawns you can take. Always say moves in algebraic.
King takes h4.
You play king h4, and then I play king takes this. Then I come over here and Papa John's. Because your king's not participating.
Right. Put some.
So that loses.
Okay.
You must get Gegenspiel, not kein Gegenspiel. Ohne Schinken.
Well,
So you should play Gegenspiel. Make your own threats.
f5.
F5.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, that pawn, how's he going to defend both pawns? Was he a magician?
Yeah.
Now look at me. I'm Sandra Oh. See, look, now I'm going to win. I'm the best. That's the only drawing move. Okay. He played king g6, so now if I take his pawn, he'll take my pawn. F4, h5. He's got 2 pawns, 1 for each of me. But I queen first, so better watch it. See, I'm going to queen. Okay, so he played rook f6. More than one move draws, but I played the cool move. This is the cool move, f2. Now, if it's black's move, which it's not, I can play rook takes pawn. Because if he takes my rook, I queen.
Right.
So he took my pawn. Well, he agreed to a draw, it says. He took my pawn.
Yeah.
I take this to a check. If his king moves, I take his last pawn. So that's rook against rook. And if he goes here, I trade check and take his pawn.
Right.
So f2, and the game was a draw. Now it's a draw. Hooray for Ben. Papa John's.
Yay.
Xanth gave not only 500 centidues, but some fries. So that was
Thank
good.
you, Sant.
Yay, I didn't lose. Man, I thought I was going to lose when I was losing. But I did not lose.
Yeah. I've never seen you cry about the game.
If king g7, then I can draw by taking this, or playing this, or playing this. Man, every move draws. Takes, and here I'll draw. I think I would have gone here. Actually, this seems like the easiest. Yeah. That's a pretty easy draw. Hooray for Ben and Hollywood. Yeah. If I marry you, you teach me chess. What? Yay, Karen says puzzle pawn. That's good. This is in Utah.
I'm not sure what I did, but thank you, Puzzle Pawn.
Troy Haskin, 200 centimeters. Why aren't we getting another train? Is it because it's 2 donations? We need 3? Yeah, that's why. Yeah.
Send pics
Or no marriage request. That's right. Exactly. 100 centimeters. Yeah. See, now on Family Guy, let me tell you what happened. Carter Pewterschmidt, who's Lois's dad, he's a billionaire, but he lost all of his money. And how he lost all of his money is too silly to explain, so we'll forget about that.
Okay.
Then, had to do with Betty White, though, by the way. Okay, true. Then his wife divorced him because he's broke. And then she married Ted Turner because he's pretty rich.
Yeah.
Right? So the whole episode, he's broke. So they're trying to figure out how to make money. So him and Peter come up with these schemes that don't work very well. One of them was to get money from Lois's purse. That was one of their schemes. Okay, but anyway, when the episode ends, right before it ends, his wife comes back and she says, I divorced Ted Turner and I took half his stuff, so now we're rich again. And back to normal. That's what happened. So. Okay, Ann Podian gave 200 cents to dues.
Thank you.
Jay Copper gave... Now, my dad claims... He claims when he was a kid, and he's serious, and a police car would drive by, they would take out a penny and say, you dirty copper. Thanks, Jay Copper. Yeah. Does that make sense? What if King D4 check? What?
I'm so tired.
What's King D4 check? What's he talking about? Now, what was your opinion of, the lifeboat?
I don't know. I haven't even really... I enjoyed it, but...
Not your favorite Hitchcock movie?
No, but I enjoyed it. I liked seeing... I don't know. I didn't sleep enough. I don't know why I'm sleepy today. Plus, I'm tired from streaming. And then there's just a lot of concentrating for me to do.
All right, let's go Hype Train.
What did you think about the movie?
I liked it.
I liked it, but...
500 centimeters from B-Dub. Hooray, level 2.
And some of the performances are a little bit over the top. I got this, Pinky Jim.
Wah, 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 wah. All right, next game was in the Michigan Masters Experts against Tom Mazachowski, who's been a master and an expert. And I've played him many times, and he's my dad's age, so my dad played him many times. He's known as the Maz. The Maz.
Yeah.
Gotta have a nickname.
Maurice Ashley on the latest Tim Ferriss podcast. He's a good talker.
What about Ferris Bueller? Look, Indo Queen and Chess with Ovi, both with 18 viewers.
Yeah.
Fighting it out. Yeah. This other guy has 18 viewers. What?
I wish I had some tea.
191 centidues, I guess. Oh, yeah, I could use another Perrier.
191. I can get it. Might do me good to walk around.
Yeah, there we go. I was going to say that, but that sounded, like I didn't mean it.
All right, well, let me go get the Perrier, and then I might even go down and get some tea. Do you think there's
At 9:51?
They're probably close at 10. Yeah, I'm not going to be the one that walks in.
You could do it.
No.
No?
No, you're hated if you walk in when they're trying to close.
It's true.
I mean, that just...
I'm always hated, so I can do it.
Darn, I should have brought some drinks.
You could have some Perrier.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
Would you rather drink Perrier for half an hour or watch Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives for half an hour?
Oh, definitely watch Diners.
I mean, you hate Perrier.
I can't drink Perrier. It's gross.
Let's see. I got to find a show you hate worse than diners, drive-ins, and dives, but I can't think of one.
There's not one that I would watch anything other than drink Perrier for a half hour.
$9 snack war.
Yay, snack whore. Okay, well, let me go get it.
I have to think of some food or drink you hate. What food or drink? What drinks you hate other than Perrier? You don't like unsweet tea.
Yeah, but I could drink it.
Man, Perrier is like your least favorite drink? Wow. 200 centidues, grunge war. Yeah, she don't like Guy Fieri. No, I agree that he's gross. I'm not arguing that. I just like the show. Nobody knows why I like the show.
I don't hate it. The show's boring.
Let's go. Type Train, 22%. Need Adam back on the stream. Or Nickel or somebody. Someone. I spent more money on Karen's stream than I make it on this stream. Terrible. What's that? You received a gift membership, diamond membership. I mean, how they can upgrade my account when it's all right. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Well, that was still very nice.
Antico Pizza in Atlanta. Never heard of it.
Yeah, where is it?
Hmm.
Never heard of it. Chest Scrub, I agree with that. It does not seem like a show that you'd be into. Well, I mean, and I have to clarify, Grunge War. You know, I don't hate Guy Fiero or whatever his name is. I just think the show's boring. I don't like to cook. Ben doesn't like to cook.
I like to watch other people cook. I don't have to do it. Yeah.
It's just not interesting to me. I like to eat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then the guy eats a lot of meat, so it's kind of weird.
Troy Haskin, 1,500 centidues.
Yay!
Hooray!
Thank you, Troy. Weird that this guy eats a lot of meat.
Bam.
He's kind of a bad person. Yeah, I don't know anything about him. He's boring and eats a lot of meat. Which I'm not a vegetarian, but I don't enjoy cooking. So for me, watching people do something I hate doing is boring.
So you'd rather watch Lifeboat? Oh. All right. Now let's look at this game here. You watching? Mm-hmm. All right. I'm black. This guy's like 2150 USCF 2,000 feet. Eh? Mm-hmm. This looks familiar, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. This is all my games. All right. Now in the games I showed you previously.
Yeah.
Bishop takes C6 was played by Ferdinand Hellers, mm-hmm. and Knight BD2 was played by the Killers. By Boris Kreiman.
Okay.
Tom played A4, which is an excellent move, because he might take my knight and win a piece. So I made sure he didn't. Mm-hmm. Then he played knight A3. The knight can go to C4, right? Also good. Okay, so because the knight's then on D2 and the rook's then on E1 and the queen's then on E2, the E4 pawn is sort of weak. Let's go, hype train, level 3, boo. So I took on D4. And now he has to make a decision because I'm going to play G5 and win this pawn. Mm-hmm. So he took on C6 like Boris Kreiman did. The knight's then on D2, so I can't take it and attack the knight like I did previously. So I just took on C6. And I still want to win this pawn, so I played G5, unpinning my knight. And I took the pawn. He gets the pawn back. But I have the two bishops. What else? And you might think, oh no, I don't like that. With some weird voice like, oh no. But actually, I'm going to push my pawns and attack his trapped bishop. Mm-hmm. Okay, let's go. Hype train. Do it. So his knight's attacked because I said so. Mm-hmm. So he moved it. And now F5. Notice I'm threatening F4. So you see the engine says I'm close to winning. So refuting his opening variation. I got two bishops. I his bishop's trapped. Knight's on e4. Okay, he played f3, breaking a very important rule.
Never play f3.
Right, but now his bishop won't get trapped. So now I have 2 bishops against 2 knights. So the engine says I'm winning. Yay, and my pretty good bishops.
Mm-hmm. So pretty good.
Queen d2,
What do people say?
rook e8. He trades everything. King f8, always put it in f. Nothing, I want a pawn on a4. Always retreat. Knights are superfluous, terrible. And then he took a pawn like I'm nobody. Now notice his knights are protecting each other because I said so. And my bishops are attacking his knights. So if he plays queen takes f5, for example, and we trade queens, then his knight's not defended.
Mm-hmm.
So he did something just as bad. He took with the knight, like I'm nobody. All right, now it's black to play and win. And it's important you see the key move. Notice it says plus 58 for black.
Okay. All right, let me look. Let's see.
And the important thing in playing the winning line is you see the final important move, which none of you are going to see, but Karen will. All right, we got 37 seconds.
Why would I see it?
Can somebody give 4 subs so we get to level 4? Even if it's after the fact and you're watching on YouTube, somehow give 4 subs. I don't know. Go back in time and do it. Make the video obsolete. Anybody? 3 subs? 800 centidues? Nobody? Someone? 1,200 centidues? No, it said 5 seconds and then it just ended. Man, that's tough. Such strong support. 1 sub, 3,500 bits. That is a lot of bits. 1 sub's not a lot of subs. I don't know how many subs I have. Not even 1,800. Boo, boo. It says we have 1 sub in that train, and then it says it's been 1 hour and 10 minutes since anyone subbed. Come on, Moobot, wake up.
I don't know. It seems complicated to me.
Everybody has the right beginning, but they have trouble seeing legal moves.
Yeah.
Yeah, they all think some move is mate when it's obviously not mate, which is very strange. Okay, so they're all thinking if this queen gets to the back row somehow, that after king here, that somehow this is mate with the queen and bishop, when obviously the king just walks up. It's terrible. All right, Bonarici has the right idea. Now, you can't play queen here check because of the knight,
Right.
and you can't play queen here check because of the knight. So I took the knight.
Okay.
Now, the engine doesn't want to get mated, so the engine moves his queen and hangs this knight. Obviously, you have to take the bishop. Now you check. And this is the key move. I played check. This is the move you have to see. If you play bishop takes knight, you get to this position. Black is winning here, but if you don't play the winning move, then you're in trouble and you're losing. But you have a winning move here with black. And you have to see it before you play bishop takes knight. So black has 1 good move. Probably when my opponent played knight takes f5, he saw this, but didn't see this move. So he thought that I had nothing. I was all talk of the badge. But it turned out, even though I was all talk of the badge, I'm still winning.
I see.
Somebody said it was too fast. So he took this pawn, and he saw I could take his knight, then check, and then check. White only has 1 legal move with his king. And this is the move that he missed when he played knight takes f5. And if I don't play this move, then white has a great position. Look at that knife on f5. Call that a knife? Man, that's great Perrier. That's your favorite.
Yeah.
Would you rather drink a Perrier or watch a marathon of diners, drive-ins, and dives? Like 10 hours straight. You'd be like, that's a terrible choice.
I don't know.
And on every diners, drive-ins, and dives, he would be drinking Perrier. Now he wouldn't do that.
Let's see what happens if you check the king,
Then he moves his king.
queen. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can check again, though.
But you're not telling me which move.
Well, I can't see too far ahead. Queen h1 check.
Uh-huh. King g4, obviously, frankly.
Emperor
forcefully.
h5.
King
check.
takes g5 is the only legal move.
And then...
And then white wins.
Oh, I didn't see that. And I could take my bishop if I check.
It doesn't matter. King just moves up.
Mm-hmm.
Pawn moves up.
Yeah, I can't see that many moves ahead.
Now, you remember my game with Arganian in the Sicilian lecture when I accidentally sacked all my pieces and I didn't want his king to run over to the king's side, and his king was on c2, and I played queen b4, which you suggested, so his king couldn't run away.
Yeah.
This is the same. What's white's only legal move with his king?
King g4.
So make sure that he can't go there.
Oh, h5.
Put it in h. Now you're threatening queen h1 mate, and he prevented it by resigning.
Oh.
That was a good way to prevent it. The engine says he should give his queen away. That way, if I have to take his queen, I can't mate because his queen takes my queen. But that is still mate. So you see how he can't get an escape score for his king. He can't check me. He has to play g4. Right? Now I check. And check. And then mate. Papa John's. Never play f3. Never. Yeah, f3 is terrible. h5, and then he resigned. Probably he didn't see h5. If I don't play h5, he's actually better here, if not winning. And so when he played in this position, when he played knight takes f5, he probably didn't see that h5 was winning. Now, this game was played a long time ago. So I could see far ahead, and I knew he couldn't play knight takes f5. Now I wouldn't even see knight takes f5. Oh, my pawn's now. That's different now. See, that's good bishop.
He says, Ben, which state are you in? Georgia.
Obviously. Frankly.
Hey, cool Manosaurus.
So it's funny. I've been dissing the Lakers like since I was born. Then yesterday, the Lakers played the Rockets. So I was like, I don't know who to root against. I was so confused. Right? The two teams you want to root against. Right? So I stopped watching because I couldn't use all my energy to root against both of them. Anyway, the gawking rabble, and there's a lot of gawking rabble. This is why they're gawking rabble, because I have to shake my head when I even talk about what they're thinking. A lot of people think in the 1-8 matchup that's probably going to happen, not definitely, probably, between Portland and LA, that Portland's going to win. Now, I don't like the Lakers. I don't like their team. I don't like anything about them. And I'm the one who starts trash talking about them more than anybody. But they're going to destroy Portland. What's wrong with everybody? What's wrong with you? Everybody's like, oh, Portland, they're the best 8 seed of all time. See, Portland has 2 good players. Then they have a terrible player who people think is good. But he's terrible. Now, they're 2 good players. Here's what's wrong with them, right? Is they play good, then they're like, let's not play good the next game. They like to take a lot of games off.
Yeah.
They score 40 points. Everybody's like, wow, McCollum's great, 40 points, right? Then they're like, I'll score 5 points the next game, and I won't play any defense. It's very inconsistent. I mean, I hate the Lakers more than anybody, but Portland's not going to beat them. Anyway, QED. Yeah, they think Damian Lillard could beat people on his own. Now, I'm a Damian Lillard fan before you heard of him. I was like, Damian Lillard. Lillard could miss 40 shots in a row, and you guys wouldn't bat an eye. You'd be like, yeah, he does that. Terrible. Yeah, and then the third guy you think is good, I'm not even going to say his name, I'm so mad. The most overrated player in NBA history, except maybe for Allen Iverson. I haven't decided that yet. And they're going to tell me Allen Iverson is good next. From what city do they like Allen Iverson? You should know. You should.
I should?
Yeah.
Where is he from?
Well, I didn't say he was from there, but he played there.
You mean at the college level or at
No,
the pro level?
Pro. You should know.
Allen Iverson. Well, I guess Philly?
Mm-hmm. That's right, Philly. Yeah. Boo. Boo. It's practice. That's what we're talking about, practice. That's good. Yeah. Crazy Town is correct. Yeah. Man, I hate the Lakers more than anybody, but Portland's no good. Man, Portland was no good before you were born. I'd like to point out to the gawking rabble, the engine says Bishop takes C2, mate in 33. And it's just calculating like white moves his queen somewhere and they keep playing. And then it sees 33 moves ahead and says mate in 33. Man, harsh. Tough computer. Yeah. I thought it was 34. Raptors are pretty good. Larry Bird's good. The Raptors did something interesting. Their best player by far, he left the team. Mm-hmm. And now they're still winning all their games. Confusing the audience. The audience is confused. They're like, wait, why aren't they bad now? Mm-hmm. See, when LeBron leaves the team, then they're bad. When Kawhi Leonard left, now they're still good. You think Siakam's good? He's an all-star in your mind?
I've never even heard of him.
All right, I'm going to tell you two names. You tell me if I'm making the names up or they're real people.
Okay.
Siakam and Van Vliet.
Van Vliet's a real name.
They both are. They play for Toronto. Yeah. Siakam, that's not real. For $1 trillion, what's his first name?
I don't know. Say his name again?
Siakam.
Is it a name I've even heard of?
Yeah, it's a normal name. Goes with Siakam pretty well. Pascal.
Oh.
That's what you were going to say?
No.
Sir Bruce subscribed. Spelling of
Yay,
Pascal was
Sir.
pretty bad. All right, Nick Nurse is a legend. What? Terrible. All right, last game, then Karen can go home.
I'm so tired.
It's a draw with JJ.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. I thought you'd like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll show the game I lost to Fabi. This was in 2017 in St. Louis.
I have to rate him.
Okay, so he has a lot of names.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He's a nice man.
All right, so we got this position, which we talk about a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now, if you remember, one of the games, the guy played here, and then I played A6. Mm-hmm. And then I said, I never play C6. And then I played C6. Special preparation for this game. Just a round robin.
Okay.
So I knew he might do this, and he wouldn't think I'd play C6. I never played it before. Okay, then he took on E5, and I took on E4. And then you go back to F6. He didn't seem to know this. He was thinking a long time. And I've played this before. And he played Bishop G5, and now I didn't know what to do, so I thought forever. Okay, and I took. And it looks pretty boring, which it should. Knight C3. And now I thought forever. Forever and ever. Yeah, the problem is he just plays Queen F3, Rook E1, Rook D1, and it's not clear what I should do. I played Bishop E6. The engine says that's fine. Then Bishop E7, Rook E1. And I played Queen A5. Wasn't sure which way to castle. Now, first question. Mm-hmm. What's black threatening?
Oh, we're threatening the bishop on G5.
That's right. So he played Bishop F6. And Knight E4. Now, here's the problem. Mm-hmm. He's going to take that, which I can't allow.
Yeah.
And he's going to go here, which I can't allow. So bishop e5 or bishop e7. If I play either move or either move, he plays a very tricky tactic you would not play, but you'll like it.
Mm-hmm.
Just tricky. Bishop c4.
Yeah.
So the idea is if I take it, knight d6 check, confusing the audience, and then I resign. I lose all my bishops. Papa John's. And the engine says resign. Okay. So I wasn't sure which way to castle. And in fact, the top two engine moves are castle and castle. Which is funny, right? Okay, I castled short. And now you can see my pawn structure is no good. But I got open f-file and the bishop's pretty good. Right? So, okay. So he played queen b3, attacking my two pawns. Right? Mm-hmm. Okay, and I put it in h. Now, I play queen d5. That's the engine move. Now, if he takes my pawn, I can attack his queen and I win this pawn. So he played c3. That's the engine move. It kills my bishop. And then I doubled his pawns. Now he wants to play knight c5, winning everything. He's always got a threat. He's always threatening everything. And I played the only move to draw. And after this, I'm still worse. If I do anything else, I lose. Because the knight here is too strong. Okay, this is very hard to see. Bishop c7. And the idea is, if he plays knight here with the dual threat, then I go here and I have threats.
Okay.
So then I'm just fine. Okay, so after bishop c7, he thought a long time. And he played g3, which is okay. That way his king can go to g2. And he can just like hammer this pawn the whole game. And he played that. I played rook d8. I played h6, so he can't play knight g5. And this should probably be a draw. Probably. He's slightly better, but he can't really attack my pawn. Yeah, and the problem is, when he played knight here, I think he wanted to take this. Mm-hmm. And the idea is, if I attack his knight, he can go back. But what I do is I trade rooks, and then I attack his knight. And now you lose your knight. Because if you play knight here, I pin the knight to your rook.
Okay.
So he can't take on b7. So after knight d6, king e7, he just played knight here. I traded bishop c7, killing his knight. So he can't do anything. And then we repeated. Always repeat. And he was very mad after the game because he thought he should have some big advantage. When it's just, I fought for equality. I mean, he's better than me, and I had black, and I played c6. And I lost a similar ending in 7.5 hours to Joel Benjamin because it was all about...
The Benjamins.
And that was at the U.S. Open in 1993, which coincidentally was at the same site as the World Open the next month at the same site. Terrible. At the Adams Mark, your favorite hotel on City Line Avenue. Your favorite area of Philly.
There's nothing wrong with City Line.
What about downtown?
I prefer a Center City.
Are they ever going to City Line Avenue and It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia? I don't think so.
I mean, it's just real suburban.
$9.99. You've seen my
There's
helmet.
nothing going on out there.
That is correct.
Hey, chess coach.
Papa John's Domino's. That's right.
I mean, the Center City's way better.
Yeah, right.
But it's not horrible.
No, I agree. Yeah. Shallow and pedantic. All right, now I'm going to quiz you.
Laszlo says, Ben keeps mispronouncing Flipadelphia.
Flipadelphia, Flipadelphia. In this position, what's the most common move? And conversely, what's the move I play that we've been looking at the whole 2 hours?
What's the most common?
Right. What's the move that's the Berlin, and what's the move that I play? You can answer either question.
Let's see. Well, I'm tired.
That's not one of the right answers.
Well, there's knight takes e4.
That's the
common.
Berlin,
That's the
right?
most
And
common.
this is the main line of the Berlin.
Yeah.
Is this position? Which two American grandmasters played this before Kramnik did? Which I said when the lecture started.
Let's see if I can remember. Before Kramnik? I don't know, remind me.
Bisgeyer and
Yeah.
Scherzer.
Oh, yeah.
Now you can see why I wasn't popular.
I wasn't going to get Scherzer.
Alex, not guilty, Scherzer.
This guy.
And what's the move that I play? The one we've been looking at for the whole 2.5 hours.
Bishop c5?
That's correct. Yeah. Now in this position, show me any of the moves that White played here in the lecture. And there's 3 moves that I faced in the games that I showed you. Show me any of them.
Any of them?
Doesn't matter which one.
Let's see if I can do it.
It's White's turn. Flip, 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 Adelphia. Hey, we have a serious question, and I think Spencer has the wrong answer. Indo Queen has 12. Okay, so if you've watched the latest season of Sunny,
D3? Is that one of them?
D3 was played once by Krivensov, not the most common. Karen and I noticed that D doesn't look good anymore. D's looking weird.
Her face looks weird.
And Spencer thinks it's because of the new high definition TVs and stuff, which is a good Family Guy joke. That's actually a very good Family Guy joke.
I don't think that's the situation.
But I mean, is she old? Did she get a bad facelift? What's going on with D? Anyone? D looks weird now. Her face looks weird. Yeah, it doesn't. It's not like she's old. Something happened. Like she got punched in the face by herself. I don't know. Yeah. Something happened to her face.
I think she had something done, but I'm not sure what.
You think that she had work done on her face and it didn't look good? Maybe.
Yeah.
Started doing crack in real life. That would do it.
Now let's see. Look at the. Okay, so there are 2 more I'm supposed to name. 2 more moves.
Yeah, your move was the least common.
Okay.
Flip, 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 Adelphia. All right, in the chat, either by actor's name or character's name or both, mix them. Name the characters in order of how good they are on Sunny. Like the best, the second best, etc. And you can only name the 5 main characters. You can't name Cricket and, what's her name?
Is it knight takes c5?
Right. What's her name?
And then you got the
What's the woman's name?
fork. What's the question?
It's Sunny.
I'm trying to do some chess
Sunny.
here.
What's the woman's name? Who's not D?
Artemis?
Yeah, Artemis. You can't name Artemis and Cricket and the Ponderosas. No, just the 5 main characters. We'll get to the other characters later.
All right. There's another one.
All right. So this person says Charlie's the best. Should I ban them?
Oh, D is obviously the
This
best
guy said
character.
Charlie by a mile. We all agree Charlie's the worst.
Charlie's the worst, but I like Charlie.
Spencer, and Karen all agree he's the worst.
Who says he's the best?
This guy says Charlie by a mile. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I love Charlie, but...
Dennis first is also even more wrong than Charlie
Well,
first.
I have Dennis third.
Right, Dennis isn't...
I have D,
Charlie. So
then
they like
Frank,
Charlie.
then
That's it.
Dennis.
Yeah. Frank
then
is the right
Mac,
answer. That's good.
Then Charlie.
The waitress... You're going off topic
The
with
waitress.
the waitress. We didn't say who's the worst side character. We said who's the best main character. This guy has D
I
last.
don't
Should we
even
ban him?
understand why the waitress is even on
Wait,
there.
should D be does that person be banned?
D's definitely first. What is going on?
D last is ridiculous.
I mean, they showed...
This guy spelled Charlie wrong. By default, D. Goldie Hawn from Laugh-In.
I mean, D's
Man, all your
obviously the
answers are
best.
wrong.
D's obviously the
Frank,
best.
period.
I
That's
would-
a reasonable
I
answer.
would take Frank.
It's a reasonable
I would
answer.
take Frank.
Right.
It's D or Frank have to be the 2.
Frank, Charlie, etc.
I love Charlie too, but come on. I mean, it's got to be D or Frank. And then, see, I like Dennis better than...
Look at this guy,
other
Laszlo
people.
Damas, giving it in reverse order. That's the reverse order. I think, but seriously, Laszlo Damas, seriously, that is Spencer's reverse order. That is Spencer's order in reverse. Exactly.
No, Spencer has Dennis last.
Right, well, that's probably right.
No, I like Dennis third. I like Dennis.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
But I mean, I like Charlie too. Dennis and Mac are really close in my mind.
They're all horrible people.
And then my favorite side characters are obviously Artemis and Cricket, Ponderosas.
D, Frank, D. What, did you write that?
I like the dad.
You like that guy's answer?
Mac's dad.
Yeah, the side characters are fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah, they have great side.
Fractured
Artemis, I
skull.
really like Artemis. I'm not sure that I like Cricket.
So you
better
see this
than
thing
Artemis.
about Kate Olsen? She had a
Right.
severe bike accident when she was 12, and that messed her face up.
What?
Yeah, Kate Olsen is on other shows, as you know, and she's also on the last season of Curb, and she sleeps with what's his name? Who's the main character on Curb?
I don't even watch Curb.
The main guy. He wrote Seinfeld. He is Seinfeld. Larry David.
Yeah, Larry David.
Yeah.
At War with Dust, though, she looks different in the early episodes than the later episodes. So,
Your wife's answer isn't terrible except for the Charlie part. The other ones are good.
so it doesn't explain why she looks different from. So I think that you're wrong at War with Dusk. I mean, she looks different the first few episodes.
Right. D
few seasons.
looks stranger now than like the first,
Does
14 seasons.
She looks great the first few seasons. I wouldn't know about
Yeah.
any kind of
Yeah.
bike accident. And then she started looking a little strange. Yeah, Dennis is a psychopath. I love Dennis.
It's an avalanche.
He reminds me of my older brother.
He does.
Yeah. Definitely.
So I'd say C5 is correct.
Okay. Well, there's one more.
Right. And then D3 was sort of correct. Then there was probably the most common move. Probably. Yeah, the side characters are great except for the waitress.
And these are what you
There's no reason
face.
she should be on the show.
It's not takes, is it?
No.
The pawn, maybe?
C3.
Oh,
And then you play
C3.
D4.
Oh, that's right.
I mean, like, Mac's dad is great. Cricket is my favorite.
Mhm,
I like Cricket more than the main
Yeah,
characters.
Cricket's great.
And then, what's her name? You said her name.
Artemis.
Artemis is great.
I love Artemis.
The Ponderosas are great, and the McPoyles they're all great.
The lawyers.
All the Ponderosas and all the McPoyles are
And the
great.
lawyers.
The lawyer's great.
There's
Everybody's
more than
great.
one lawyer.
What?
I like the other lawyer.
What other lawyer?
The one that's the opposing counsel.
Oh, well, the lawyer's the guy that's the guy we're talking about.
There are two lawyers
Well, one lawyer is Charlie's uncle.
with the hands.
Right, he's not a lawyer. He's a lawyer.
Well, I call him a lawyer.
No, that's Charlie's uncle.
Oh, well,
It's not really his
he's-
uncle, but yeah. Yeah, Charlie's uncle is great with the hands. That's great. Yeah.
I mean, he's a lawyer.
Yeah, and when Maureen Ponderosa's a cat, that's great. Yeah. It's all
Yeah.
great.
And she got her rotten tooth fixed.
Yeah. Uncle Pete from a civil action. Charlie is well versed with bird law, and my favorite episode is the Nightman Cometh.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I do give Charlie credit. It's true.
Yeah, that's a good episode.
Yeah, Frank's great. They're all great except for maybe Dennis.
I
Nick,
mean,
and D.
D and
I like
Frank,
a lot of the side characters more than some of the main.
D
characters.
and Frank have to be first. I mean, come on.
They have to be, Yeah, I got Frank first, D second, like Spencer does, and you have D first and Frank second.
Oh, definitely.
Then the other ones, I don't really care where they go. Yeah.
They're similar.
As long as we have Artemis, and as long as the Ponderosas and McPoyles are on the show a lot, especially the McPoyles, especially Guillermo del Toro. He's the only one that matters.
Dayman.
Yeah, no, D's great. Better than the Nightman.
Dennis is so good
Yeah.
in that
Yeah.
episode. I mean, you gotta like Dennis just for that episode.
Yeah, now the guy who plays Cricket, he not only directs and produces some of the episodes, but his brother has that terrible song. There's a terrible song that's been on the radio for 30 years.
That's the way it is.
That's just the way it is. Some things will never change. That's Cricket's brother in real life. Terrible. I know where the tail in that family went. Not with that guy. Yeah, Cricket's the best. Go Cricket.
I had that album came out
That's too bad.
when I was working at the record store.
Terrible. Did
I
you
have
burn it?
No, I have a promo of that album. I still have it.
Man, Cricket's great in Wrestling for the Troops.
Terrible album. We used to get in fights over it at the store. Playing that
Yeah.
crap.
This guy says Waitress and Charlie are married in real life.
Really?
I didn't know that. Learn something new every day.
That's true?
Yeah, I don't know who the Bones lady is either. Yeah.
Because she's my least favorite side character.
Right, and she's terrible.
She's terrible, and she's not cute.
Yeah.
And she's not a good actress.
Right.
And I don't understand
That's all correct.
the obsession with her.
You know who's good is that woman who's dead. She's good. The one who's 100, Gladys. She was in 2 episodes. She was great in both of them.
So, what's going on here?
Yeah, she's looking at her sheet music. What the son of a...
What's going on?
Yeah. All right, that's all I have for you today.
She said that. She says, what's happening?
Yeah,
what's happening?
Yeah, she's great. Yeah. Did you know that my grandmother had an affair with... Dee and Mac
you
are
like
married
the
in real life
Waitress?
too. Well, that I did know.
Yeah, that I did know.
Yeah. That's right. Dennis did marry a girl from one of the episodes.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he started dating her and they got married. Yeah. Anyway, you guys don't seem to understand the show, but that's okay. You still enjoy it. So that's good. But yeah, try to pay more attention to the good characters from now on. Yeah. All right. See you guys tomorrow. Now, tomorrow, I might do my normal stream from 6 to 9, but it's more likely I'll be like 6:45 to 9. And it's also possible I won't stream. And tomorrow from 12 to 5, this is all Eastern, obviously, the only time zone that matters. I'll be on some other Twitch channel, either the chess one or the chess events com one, I don't know, or something. Doing the U.S. elementary, junior, championship, whatever. Yeah. And also, don't forget tomorrow.
Wait.
Yeah?
Are we still streaming?
Yeah.
Oh. No, I was going to say, because I could tell you.
Yeah.
I could tell you were about to click.
Yeah.
So and Spencer, I'm going to stream with Spencer at probably 3 Eastern time, probably. Anyway.
Yeah, but I thought at 3 Eastern time you were going to...